If you're new to the Legendairy Milk Imani i2 Plus wearable breast pump, then stick around, as in this video I am going to walk you through all the components that make up the Imani i2 Plus, as well as how to use the Imani wearable breast pump. So to get started, let's take a look at all the different components that make up this wearable breast pump. First, you have your pump motor. Now this is what drives and creates your suction. It is your control center for all your adjustments with your pump. Next, you have your collection cup. Now this is where all your milk is collected during your pumping session. It is up to 7-ounce capacity. Next, you have your duckbill valve. You then have your diaphragm. You have your connector or linker, and this is used to connect all your pieces together. And then lastly, you have your flange or breast shield. Now this is a 28mm. This is important to note, and we will talk about why in a few minutes. So how does this all go back together? First, you're going to want to take your linker and attach your duckbill valve. Now this simply slides onto the bottom. You are going to want to make sure that you have the flat edge of your duckbill valve in alignment with the circle opening on your connector. Next, you're going to want to take your diaphragm and attach it to the top of your connector. Now this simply pushes down. You'll hear a little bit of a click. Make sure you run your fingers around the outside to ensure you have a nice secure seal. This is really important as it helps to create your suction. Next, you are going to want to attach your completed linker to your collection cup. Now you can see up the top here that you have an opening for your diaphragm to fit into, and at the bottom there is a little piece where your duckbill valve sits. So you simply push this into place with a nice firm push. You are going to want to make sure that your duckbill valve stays connected. Give it a little shake and a test to make sure that is all nice and secure. Next, you're going to want to attach your breast shield. Now, at the top of this it's a bit tricky to say, breast shield, you can see that there is a opening in the lip. Now that aligns with your pouring spout at the top. Now, if you have these off center, it's going to make pouring quite difficult and make your pump prone to leaks. So we're going to first slide in the flange section to the connector, and then you can simply slide this along until you have a great alignment up the top. Then you're going to want to push down on the seal. I like to lift it up slightly and over to get that initial seal, and then you can just simply push around the edge until you hear it all click into place. Now again, I like to run my fingers firmly pushing down on the outside to make sure we have that nice secure fit. Lastly, you can see that there is this little lid that gets pushed into the opening of your pouring spout to prevent any leaks. Finally, you are going to want to attach a pump motor to the top of your pump. Now this simply pushes down. You're going to want to make sure it has a nice firm secure fit, and there we have it. You have your completed Imani i2 Plus pump. So how does this pump work? Well, first, make sure that you have your pump charged before using it. We are going to then want to turn on your pump motor, and you will see that it has a LED screen. You can first see what your battery charge is. So this is 2 bars, which is about half full, and then you can see a couple of zeros. They are your runtime for the pump. So you can see on here that there are 4 buttons. The first one is your massage mode. Now this is for your for your letdown, initiating it. You run this mode for around 2 minutes until your letdown initiates. So that's your initial flow of milk. And then you switch to your expression mode, and that is longer, drawn out pumps to express your milk. And you run that for around 20 minutes or until your pumping session is finished. Then you have your minus and your plus button for adjusting your suction levels. So let's take a look. If I turn my pump back on, it has a nice auto shut off, which is great. So this is the massage option, and you can see here I have the number of seconds that the pump has been running, and here is number 5. That is the level that I am on. So I can change that level by pressing the minus or the plus. Now there are only 5 different suction levels, and then I can swap to the expression mode, and you can hear the change. These are long drawn out suctions, and again, it's just for expressing your milk. So, and drawing out as much as possible. And again, you can adjust the levels of suction. Now, when you have done your pumping session, let's turn this off. You are going to want to be upright position. You're going to want to lean slightly forward and break the seal by placing your fingers between your breast and your pump. Break the seal and then pull off your pump. You're not going to want to just pull the pump out. That is going to hurt and potentially cause damage. So ensure that you break that seal first. And then you are going to want to remove the pump motor. You can then pour your milk into your collection cup. Next, you are going to want to pull all the pieces apart, wash in warm soapy water, and then sterilize for your next use. Now, if you have a docking station, then you can simply place your pump motor in. Let me turn that on. In for recharging. I highly recommend recharging after every use so it is ready for when you need it. You can tell that this is charging because the battery is flicking. If you do not have a docking station, you can simply use your USB Type-C and plug it into the base of your pump, and it will charge for you. Now, the only other things that I have not noted, and quite possibly one of the most important parts, is ensuring that you have the correct flange size. Now, I pointed out at the start that this is a 28 millimeter breast shield flange. Now, that is quite large. More than likely, you will need to reduce the size of your flange. And to do that, you simply use a flange insert. Now, this is the Imani flange insert, and it is a 25, I don't think you can see that, a 25 millimeter. So this reduces my 28 millimeter flange down to a 25 millimeter flange. And to do that, you simply push your flange insert in. Now, one thing to note is if you have a 25 millimeter breast shield, that is a bit of an unusual size. You will need to make sure that your flange insert converts a 25 millimeter flange down to the sizing that you are needing. For example, these are a 24 millimeter, which is your standard kind of size for a flange. If I put this in, it fits, but it's quite loose, and that's really not going to give me that adequate seal that you need. For this 28mm breast shield, I will need to ensure that the flange conversion goes from a 28mm down to the sizing that I need. So it's just something to keep in mind, especially if you have the 25mm or the 32mm breast shield, because they are a little bit more unusual sizing. All right, if you have any questions, please make sure to ask. I will do my very best to answer them. I hope this helps.